World War II was not only a clash of armies and nations but also a brutal test of human survival. Beyond the tanks, bombs, and battles there existed a hidden world of survival tricks, desperate, ingenious, and often shocking methods that soldiers used to stay alive in the harshest conditions. Many of these techniques were so effective that they were classified or passed only through word of mouth, reserved for those who needed them most. Here are 10 such survival tricks that shaped the battlefield, yet remained little known to the public. One of the most notorious tricks was the use of silk escape maps. Standard paper maps would tear or fall apart in the rain, but Allied intelligence developed maps printed on silk. These could be folded into tiny spaces, hidden in clothing, and even sewn into uniforms. They didn't rustle like paper, so soldiers could read them silently in enemy territory. To this day, original silk maps are considered prized relics, reminders of how something as soft as fabric saved countless men from capture. Another remarkable method was the creation of escape compasses hidden in uniform buttons. MI9, the British intelligence group dedicated to escape and evasion, ingeniously hollowed out ordinary-looking buttons that contained tiny magnetic needles. Soldiers could detach the button, float the needle on water or balance it on a thread, and suddenly, they had a compass pointing the way to freedom. Small, simple, and brilliant, it turned every uniform into a potential survival kit. Food scarcity drove men to resourcefulness. One of the most brutal tricks was learning to eat anything that moved. Survival manuals taught downed pilots and stranded soldiers how to trap and consume rats, snakes, insects, and even snails. In the jungles of the Pacific, soldiers were instructed to watch what monkeys ate and mimic them. If it was safe for a monkey, it was likely safe for a man. Disgusting as it sounds, this practice prevented starvation when rations were gone and supply lines were cut. Another secret technique involved urine as a survival tool. Soldiers caught in chemical attacks or without fresh water were taught to use urine in ways most people would never consider. Inhaling through a urine-soaked cloth could neutralize chlorine gas in emergencies, and in extreme dehydration, urine could be filtered through cloth and reconsumed as a temporary measure. It wasn't glamorous, but in a war where chemical attacks and thirst killed thousands, it bought precious time. The Allies also issued a peculiar secret weapon, the escape harmonica. It looked like a child's toy, but inside, hidden compartments contained saws, maps, and tiny files. Prisoners of war carried them, and with these tools, some managed daring escapes. What seemed like a soldier passing time with music was, in truth, an escape operation in disguise. Camouflage, too, had its hidden methods. Soldiers were taught to cover shiny objects with mud, soot, or cloth, but more advanced lessons included mimicking natural scents. In jungle warfare, men rubbed themselves with local plants to mask their smell from dogs. Some even used tobacco smoke rubbed on skin to confuse animal trackers. To the enemy this was invisible. To the soldiers, it was the difference between being hunted down or vanishing into the wild. One of the most fascinating secrets was the fake identity trick. Captured soldiers were instructed to memorize at least one false civilian identity. Like, a name, birthplace, and trade that could withstand quick interrogation. If captured by the enemy, this sometimes confused or delayed execution, as soldiers pretended to be farmers, cobblers, or laborers instead of combatants. A few even forged papers on the fly using soot, ink, or whatever they had on hand. Survival in the frozen Russian front required desperate measures. Men learned the trick of lining boots with newspaper or straw to trap heat when winter clothing ran out. Others coated exposed skin with animal fat or oil from machinery to fight frostbite. Primitive but effective, these measures allowed men to endure temperatures that killed thousands of unprepared soldiers. Equally strange was the wounded trick. Soldiers were taught that sometimes survival meant pretending to be dead or severely injured. On battlefields where finishing shots were common, men smeared themselves with blood, sometimes their own, sometimes from fallen comrades, and lay motionless until danger passed. Horrific as it was, this tactic saved lives when retreat wasn't possible. Finally, one of the most closely guarded secrets was hidden survival kits in everyday objects. Razors, playing cards, cigarette packs, and even Monopoly boards were designed with secret compartments holding escape maps, compasses, and tools. Issued by Allied intelligence, these items looked harmless but became lifelines for downed pilots and captured men. The Germans rarely suspected them, which is why soldiers were ordered to never reveal how these tools worked. Together, these tricks reveal a side of war that goes beyond guns and glory. They show the raw human instinct to survive, to outwit nature, and to defy capture. From drinking urine to disguising weapons in toys, these methods may sound bizarre today, but in the hell of World War II, they were lifelines that saved thousands. Survival wasn't always about courage or firepower, it was about knowledge, secrets, and the will to do whatever it took to see another day.